guys, welcome back to Tigre Gitana. My name is Abby, and today we're going to do our sacral healing tarot pull for the week of September 24th to October 1st. So we're going to be shuffling for that. I hope last week was good for you guys. I found myself flowing, just like how the message was. That was a big message for last week, just flow with it. I definitely found that the times where I just let go and just flowed last week, I was at my best, and I felt good and I wasn't worried or anything like that. And then I started, like, the feeling good starting to creep in, like, in weird areas, and just like, damn, I just really feel good right now. And it was just because I kind of let go and I was just flowing with it, and it just felt really good. And I think that really was a great way to end last week for Virgo season. Now that we are in Libra season, we are pretty much ready to balance everything out. And that's going to be a really big focus for Libra season. Balance is going to be coming up every single week, just as healing was coming up for Virgo every single week, just as for Leo it was shining every single week. It was just like, here's the truth in your face all the time. Like, it was just, balance will come out, and the way we balance will come up every week of the season, trust me. And the Scorpio, these Scorpio placements that are like underneath this Libra the undercurrents of the Scorpio energy will also be coming up, because we will be focusing on a lot of sacral work for the rest, pretty much for the rest of the year. With Venus is gonna be in Scorpio for the rest of the year, because it's gonna retrograde, and it's like boop boop. And then Jupiter is still in Scorpio. It's gonna move into Sag soon, but it's still in Scorpio. And we're gonna be doing a lot of sacral works, a lot of sacral healing, balancing, cleansing. It's gonna, what comes up in the readings is stuff that we really need to laser focus on, because they'll all be healing opportunities for sure. So okay, so this week we're coming into, the moon is still in Pisces. It's going to move into Aries tonight. We have a full moon in Aries coming up. This is going to be fun. So whatever you've been working on last week, that really kind of you were flowing with, but you saw that there was this built up. It was just like a built up. It was still building up. It's because emotionally we're still building up to this full moon. So we will come to an emotional breakthrough this week where we'll need to initiate something emotionally. There'll be an emotional need for a fresh start, and that is something that Aries is going to give you. However, please, my mutable signs, actually all the signs, please, for the love of all that is good, check your transits and all this stuff, because I will tell you this, and I always say it, cardinal moons bring a good element of anxiety to people. So please make sure that you're checking in on yourself. Please make sure that you're checking in on yourself. It is very, very important, because there is that carnal push. Not everybody can handle carnal energy, especially when you're a more dominant mutable sign, and when you're a more dominant, like, chiller sign, like you're just a little bit more mellow, you're a little bit more this, but you have that one placement that's carnal, or you have a couple placements that's carnal in your chart, and then once that moon comes through and activates that shit, especially because the sun is in a carnal sign with Libra, when you have like this carnal energy asking you to move when naturally you are pretty much chill and unmoving, it can bring up anxiety. And I talked about this in astrology and anxiety video that I did check that out if you want more information on that, but it can bring up a lot of stuff, and it's not necessarily the easiest to deal with, but it's necessary for it to happen because it demands change and it demands us to continue to be better. We can't always just sulk. I'm biased because I'm a Capricorn, so I'm carnal, but I always notice that it really it really affects like other people, not in the same way that it affects me, even though sometimes I do get anxiety during cardinal moons. It's not always like the funnest to deal with, but the way I'm gonna be using this energy is by doing I'm gonna be doing a lot of spell work during this moon. I will tell you that. There's gonna be a lot of stuff going on. I'm mainly gonna be working with Sekhmet for this moon, because working with her during Aries moons and Leo moons are probably like the best because it embodies her energy the best, but it's necessary to work with that fire warrior energy and to empower ourselves and all this good stuff. So I'm going to be working a lot with her. That's the way I'm going to be using the energy, besides making the Aries the Aries oil, which I'm going to restock in the shop because there's only one left. But that's how I'm going to be working. I just when I'm energetically, when the universe is like putting so much energy on me, I just transmute it into something else. That's how I deal with that. But I know that everybody else, in the way the moon falls, is not always in placements that you want to be dealing with at the time, which is where the anxiety comes in. So definitely watch that this week. Bottom of the deck is the 9 of Cups and Punishments. Interesting, no? Okay. So let's talk about these cards, and I'm gonna tell you guys a couple of stories of what happened to me last week that I thought was really interesting. The first card out is the Page of Pentacles and the 8 of Wands. And this deck is called the Knight of Earth, which is really cool. So the first 2 cards out, and I'm not surprised about this because we're going from Virgo energy. The Page of Pentacles is always Virgo energy for me, because they're mutable and they're like that element of Earth when you're looking at the suits. So this is like going from Virgo to this raging fire movement situation that's happening with this 8 of Wands because of this moon. The way this kind of, the astrologically speaking, the way the planets kind of moved into it, it's like, okay, enjoy this little bit of the Pisces moon that we got left. Just be emotionally cool and dreamy and mellow, and then you're just gonna get hit with this goddamn Aries energy in your face. Which is interesting. So pay attention to the way that the energy is shifting, because the beginning of the week, like right now, it's where it's gonna be at. Like you're gonna go from 1 to real quick, from 0 to 100, especially because the sun just moved into Libra, so we do already have that cardinal energy like in the background, like lurking. So just pay attention to how swift and how fast it goes from being flowy and mellow to being like, let's go. Also, pay attention to messages that you get this week, because there's something about movement, and there's something about, I don't know, I'm just getting messages. Especially with the next couple of cards that are here. Pay attention to messages you get this week. Pay attention to the conversations that you have with others. Pay attention to the way things are being said to you. Don't forget that Libra is an air sign. It's ruled by Venus, but it's still a freaking air sign. Pay attention to the way that things are being said to you, the way things are being presented to you verbally, what they're triggering, what they're kind of unlocking for you, how communication is either hindering or hurting you or opening you up to a different experience. Pay attention to that. That's very, very important this week. It's just very important. I just get the importance of it, like vibes. I feel like there's things that need to be said this week. There's definitely something that needs to be said. The next 2 cards are the 4 of Cups and the 7 of Wands in reverse. And it might come up from this anxiety that I was just talking about, because this right here, this situation right here, it's uncontrollable anxiety. And it's this emotional just anxiety out of frustration, out of not having something the way that we want it, or others. But I kind of feel like a lot of people are going to be bringing this type of energy to other people, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like this is going to be a out of frustration, out of emotional frustration, out of not seeing the movement, out of being kind of a little bit more grounded and unmovable and just growing a little bit slowly. There's going to be some frustration there that's going to come, that's going to have this little push from this from this full moon, because Aries don't wait no time. They don't wait. They don't wait. They just need to, they're very impatient. So this is not this they need to move. They need to move. Aries needs to move. Aries, if you told an Aries to sit down, they'll be like, how long? I'm sorry, what? You want me to spend time in this? They're not like Capricorns. In when it comes to time, they rather move faster, which is why they're ruled by Mars, not Saturn. Like, they rather move fast. Like, they want to get to the goal like as fast as possible. Like, let's go. Like, show me what the challenge is so I can get to it. Like, whatever needs to be done, I'm gonna do it at my pace, and my pace might be faster than everybody else's pace. So emotionally, we're gonna be feeling like this through this full moon. There's gonna be a I need to jumpstart something. I need to, and it might just come out of frustration. It might just come out of this anxiety. It might just come out of this like from this kind of Virgo, like, oh, internal mental energy that we were in, to like this, okay, now I need to do something about it, because I can't just keep thinking about it. I can't just keep feeling the emotional heaviness or the emotional discomfort or the emotional like pain from it. I want to do the thing. I want to do it. And what comes from that? What comes from us moving? Next two cards is the Tower and the Ten of Swords. But don't feel like it's gonna be, you know, crazy, because the last card is the Fool. So we're looking cute. We're looking cute towards the end. But there is a, we're kind of, I feel like this week we're kind of creating our own tower, or the way we, yeah, we're creating our own tower. That's how I feel like. Because the way we are reacting to our emotional climax, it's in a way where we want to see change so fast because of that full moon energy. We want to see it so fast. We want to see the end of our mental just sulkiness and torment, self-torment of whatever the situation is. We want to see, and we want to get some sort of confirmation, some sort of change, something to change in the situation, something to bring us out of this kind of like energy. Something needs to change, like just something. So give me something. That's literally what this reading is saying. It's like, give me anything. I just need to see some movement. I need to see something different. I need to see where my options are. I need to see how I can address this situation better, how I can be better, how I can how we can be better. Whatever the case may be, it's just like a build up and a like I just need to see it. So I feel like this is interesting. I'm gonna tell you guys kind of, not really a story, but kind of a story. So anytime I read books, or anytime I see a movie or anything like that, I always find myself relating to the character that either is completely different or completely just takes chances, or like, because movies and stuff, they always want to make you like fall for the underdog and fall for the the hero in many ways, and how some characters end up becoming heroes, but not really wanting to become a hero in the first place, but they ended up having to take the mantle of that role. But I always end up liking the character that comes along that already knows how, like, or already pretty much lives in their own power and already knows how, who they are, how they're gonna be, like. And I feel like a part of that is because Capricorns are very self-knowing people, and I am a Capricorn, so I'm a very self-aware person of who I am, and I love to see people in control of themselves because I align with it so well. And I have trouble connecting to people that feel so much but do nothing about it. I just have so much trouble connecting with it. So anytime that I'm watching a story or like listening to a book, or like an audiobook, or reading a book, or watching a show, or watching a movie, I always look for a part of myself in other characters, a part of myself that I can actually root for, because I align with it so well. And this week, I feel like there's gonna be an element to that, to kind of being what you want to see, or what, because you could be the type of person that likes those characters anyway, but never has the actual guts to make the moves that that person would have done. Which is why characters get so famous. There's some specific characters that that are famous because they take all the chances and they do everything, and like, they just don't care what you think of them. The point of their character is to be this this kind of enigma, like, just to be this breaking point, to be the change that you want to see in the world. This is really what it is. And I feel like this week is going to bring us to a point where we'll have to be that character. We'll have to be what we want to see. The change that we want to see will have to actually emotionally be this week, which is very interesting, to say the least. I don't know, I just think it's really interesting. The bottom of the deck is the Sun and the Four of Pentacles. Interesting stuff this week. A whole bunch of cards came out, so we're just gonna go with that. First card out is the King of Swords in reverse. Not surprised. Five of Swords and the King of Pentacles are the next two cards. Wow, a second time coming through. Okay. Next two cards are the Tower and the Knight of Swords. So the Tower twice in this reading. Okay, Uranus, I see you. I see you, Uranus. Okay. Then the Two of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles are the next two cards. And the last card is the Hanged Man. So, interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So, King of Swords and the King of Swords in reverse and the Five of Swords. There's a lot of kings in this goddamn thing. There's a lot of fucking kings in this goddamn shrine. King of Swords and the Five of Swords really tells me that, well, one, there's going to be people that are really mentally going to be running on a lot of things. When the King of Swords is in reverse, it equals what we were talking about in the beginning with this kind of energy, because he's not in control of his own, basically his own communicative state, his own mental state, he's not in control of the verbal situation that is occurring. He's not in control of the conversation. He is kind of doing the Five of Swords energy that kind of almost saying something just to say it, but not having the upper hand in the situation, not feeling like he has the upper hand in the situation. There's an element of wanting to kind of win and wanting to be in control of the situation, because I mean, who doesn't want to be in control? Well, some signs, I guess, don't want to be in control of the situation. I'd rather be in control of the situation. I'm a cardinal sign, but there's some signs I'd rather have the other person have the control. I mean, I also like it when other people have control. I mean, that's fine with me. But there is an element of wanting to be in control but not being in control, and the frustration of it. There's a frustration that comes from not being in control. And we're going to kind of be feeling that theme throughout the week, especially because the crescendo of it will be with the Tower. That Tower energy is really like falling hard this week. The next two cards are the King of Pentacles and the Tower card. And there is an element of the self that... An element of the self and what we value that will kind of come to this Tower moment. Just gonna leave the Tower cards in my face for a second. There's an element of the self that will come to this Tower moment where we'll have to really focus on how, like, if we have been being stubborn, if we've been blocking ourselves, if we've been blocking our emotions, and we've been blocking the shit that we actually care about. Because don't forget, the Pentacles, it's, yeah, everybody loves to say it's about money, but no, people don't understand what the Pentacle suit is actually about. The Pentacle suit is about value. It's about value. The Earth signs need stuff to value. That doesn't always have to be money. Okay, don't get it twisted with the Pentacles cards. Everybody loves to be like, money's coming in because the Pentacles is over here. That's great, and it could be coming in, but it also could be that something that you value is coming in, or something that the King of Pentacles represents someone who already has a good state of his values. He already earned what he valued. He already has all these things. Everything that he has, he puts value in them. That could include people. That could include money. That could include a house, a job, or a relationship, a friendship. It could mean so many things, but it means value. Anytime that I ever do readings for myself and I get the Ace of Pentacles or whatever the case, I'm like, okay, so something important is gonna come. Something that I'm really going to personally see value in is coming to me. It doesn't always have to be money. Don't get it twisted. It does not always have to be money. So this state, this kind of, from this King of Swords going into here, this breaking point, this Tower moment is happening because of the realization that of our value for something. And it's interesting that this is kind of blocking our sacral space for this week as a focus. Like, it's blocking our sacral space. Realizing that money isn't the only thing that holds value. There's a lot of things that we put value in that you need to kind of understand, because there is a balance that comes from understanding that. Because when you, and yes, we're going to tie this right back into Libra season, when you put yourself in a position where you could see the meaning of someone or of an experience or of something in your life, there is no money that you can put on it. So for example, this is something that's been happening to me all year. Anytime I'll do like a good luck spell or like a money spell or something like that, what ends up happening is that I'll manifest an experience that would equal the money that I would have spent. How do I explain? Okay, I'll explain this with the story, I guess. This year, I was doing a lot of spiritual work, and I was just like really focusing on healing a lot of things. And I was just like, you know what? I lit a candle. I was working a lot with Offset, and I lit a candle for her. And I was like, you know, I really want to continue with my spiritual growth and my spiritual studies, and I really want to continue and expand my healing. And what happened from that was that I ended up manifesting an experience with a healer who is now my mentor as well. And I've been working with this person who specializes in that specific thing that I was asking for. And that situation it's valuable to me. And to others, that situation, you can actually put a money value, because if you wanted to work with this person, you would have to pay, right? But to me, I don't have to pay, but I am working with this person. I am still learning, and I am growing from this experience, and that holds value to me. But I cannot put money on that. Do you see what I'm trying to say? There is an element of the King of Pentacles where he knows what is valuable. Not everything in the Pentacle suit has to do with money. Please pay attention to this. This is why the bottom of the deck is the Sun and the damn Four of Pentacles. This is about holding on to things that we value. Holding on and being happy with the things that we value. There is an element of that. So pay attention to how that plays off, especially because right after Aries, this Aries full moon, it goes into a Taurus, and Taurus is an earth sign, and we all know that's Venus vibes, and we all know they're a fixed sign. They love holding on to things that makes them feel good, and that holds value to them. So pay attention. Don't just like dismiss that. But there is a kind of mental shift that's happening because of that energy. There's a kind of needing to reevaluate, needing to balance out the things that we value, needing to see the value in those things, and be in the things that we have not been holding in that light, have not been balancing in that light. We'll have this Tower moment, and we'll kind of come to this like the things that we've been mentally straining ourselves for are really going to be like, wait, it's because you care, you value this, you want this, there's something about this that you really want movement in, and this is why this movement, this shift in society is happening. The next two cards are the Knight of Swords and the Two of Cups. So for my lovely people who have been like driving yourselves crazy with your love situation, I definitely feel you on that one. There's elements of thought, but like the Knight of Swords is like bum rushing this. He's bum rushing this. He's like, I want it, and I want it now. Like, I want to get to that point. I want to just be with you. I want to just like, can we just get it? Goodness gracious Christ. Okay. The Knight of Swords is very aggressive with what he wants. But this can be also Aries energy. Do not forget that Aries wants things as fast as they could possibly receive the thing. They're very much like, why do I have to wait 2 years for? No, what's the fastest route to this? Because I want to take that route. That's the way that they are. And so there is kind of a rush. There's a rush. There's a rush. The Tower. We started off the week with this. It's building up to this kind of like point of just there's a rush for it. But I would say that the last two cards are the Queen of Pentacles and the Hangman. So there is an understanding of the value. Like, it's gonna come all back around. The Hangman is not necessarily a bad card at all as far as ending the week on, because we have the Fool on one and then the Hangman on other. But I will say that seeing the value, like maybe there was a relationship or something that we didn't actually treat well. Maybe there was something that for those, because everybody's going to be going through a different way. This energy, this whole reading will, as a whole energy will manifest different for many different people. But the way it comes about, it's like, of course, the way it comes about, it's like, it's just to show you the importance of what the situation is, to show you why you need to value it, why you need to enjoy it. One of the things my best friend says all the time is like, if you don't use it, you lose it. Which is like such an Aries thing to say, no? If you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use that cheese or the fruit, if you don't eat the fruit that you had in your fridge or in your outside your fridge, like, it's gonna rot. You're gonna lose it. If you don't act on those feelings that you have for this person's never gonna think that you want them, or maybe they'll, depending on who they are, they'll just hide it in forever until they meet someone else, and then you'll lose that person. If you don't tell your friends who treat you like shit that, if you don't stand up for yourself and tell them to stop treating you like shit, Not only will you lose the opportunity in the moment to tell them, but they'll continue to do so. And when you finally confront them about it, or you just pull away, you're either going to lose that friend, or you'll confront that friend and they'll be like, well, why didn't you tell me this before? And it's like a loss of time. It's a loss of time. It's a loss of opportunity. It's a loss of the things that we value. Because that's what we're going to be hanged up on towards the end of the week. There is a huge importance when it, especially when it comes to sacral energy, to understand what we're valuing, what we're putting down there. Our sacral space, and the reason why it gets blocked is because we're not putting the right things in there, energetically speaking. It's a lot of shit that gets blocked in our sacral space because of the pain that gets transmuted from not balancing it out and not valuing the correct things, and just the trauma that comes from these imbalances. It just gets blocked in that space. And then what ends up happening, that throughout our lives we'll find ourselves in similar situations that will trigger that space and the pain that is still being held in that space, and it's going to show you what you're valuing, because you will continue to value these negative experiences, this trauma in a way that it needs to stay there. It just stays there because you put so much emphasis and so much stuff on it. Like, there's a time to hold on and there's a time to not hold on, and it's important for us to just, I want to say flow as from last week, but give ourselves the chance to value something else and grow with what we value, and not just necessarily like hold on forever, but make sure that we're happy with what we value, happy with what we're holding there, what we're holding. The reason why there's a bottom of the deck, always look at your bottom of the decks, but there's a reason for what. If you're holding something in your sacral space, let it be something that is healing to you. Let it be something that energetically continues to make that area flourish so that you can manifest clearly. Because again, when our sacral space is blocked, we cannot manifest properly. It's not something that can happen. So you can manifest out of frustration, but you won't get your way. Basically, you can manifest out of frustration, but you will be very, very, you won't really get your way. It'll be a very frustrating situation. It's not something that's easy. And so make sure that whatever you're holding energetically, whatever you're holding spiritually, mentally, emotionally, whatever you're holding in your heart chakra, whatever you're holding in your, like, whatever it is that you're holding on to, let it be something that it's valuable. Don't make your traumas, don't make your pain valuable. Don't make it valuable unless you're going to become a writer and like write about it and make a, I don't know, sell 1 million books or something like that. Like, don't make it valuable unless it's something that needs to be shared so others can heal as well, like how I just explained that. Don't make it valuable. It doesn't need to be valuable. It doesn't need to hold so much weight for you. There's some things that need to be let go of, because the longer you hold on to it, and then throughout your life, you're gonna carry that into the next lives and stuff. That's gonna be past life trauma. Like, heal your trauma now so you could just go in straight shot next time. Like, it doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to be painful. It doesn't need to be painful at all. It doesn't need to be painful. There are going to be communications and conversations that happen this week out of frustration and out of, like, this Aries energy is going to make a lot of people, like, act on their feelings, especially when it comes to relationships, because they're going to be able to see the value, and they're going to see the kind of pain of it, and they're going to want to just stop sulking in it. I could definitely see that in this reading, which is nice. It's nice when others are actually doing the work. With the Hanged Man, though, I would say, because there's going to be Venus vibes this whole entire week, I would say just a little bit with last week with the flow, but just, like, chill. Just chill with it. Chill with what you value. Like, just let yourself going to the next journey, like this Aries kind of energy, this like fresh start, emotional push, like this drive. Let yourself go into it without like go at your pace, but your pace is gonna seem a little bit faster this week than other weeks. That's all I can say. As far as our zodiac oracle guidance for this week, the first card that came out was Libra, of course. I mean, are you even surprised? Okay. Anyway, Libra energy. I'm just gonna leave the scales up here for a second so y'all could just stay up with these scales. Balance. Seek balance. Every single week we're going to be talking about balance, so I suggest that you work on it. The balance for this week is really cleaning out some stuff and really focusing on our values, focusing on what we're carrying, why we're so upset about things that we want to move on and that we want to see movement on. Really seeking balance in those areas so we can like really do the healing work and really focus on doing the healing work. Next card is water. I'm not surprised about this because we are going to have some very emotional times this week. Focus on what your emotions are telling you. Focus on how the moon's affecting you. Focus on how what needs to be cleaned out. Is your river flowing, or is it just blocked off and it's just a muck running on it? Like what is happening there? Focus on your emotions. Focus on what is bringing up your conversations with people. What's getting triggered? Literally just go back into yourself and set the intention for self-awareness this week. I will say that. Next card is fire. I mean, we know because of this damn Aries moon. This is like emotional manifestations as far as drive goes. We already talked about it, but make sure that whatever you're emotionally cleaning out gunk wise, and when you're clear emotional, when your river is flowing clear again, that drive needs to go somewhere. So set those intentions. Last card is Taurus. I'm not surprised. Like I said, fucking Venus energy all week. Really great time to work with any of the love deities for this week. But I would say for this Taurus energy, because this is Uranus right here, this Tower energy is Uranus. This is Uranus. So, and because Uranus is in Taurus, and we also had the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, please pay attention to your Taurus placements for this week, as you will be seeing some stuff going down. Pay attention to it. Pay attention to what you're holding on to in that area. Pay attention to how it's affecting you. It's gonna be, it's really gonna change some things. And if you can kind of, if you know your transits, then you'll be able to see where exactly you're gonna be seeing that kind of these tower moments. Because that's what tarot is about. You're just reading the energy. But pay attention to that this week, because I feel like that's where you're going to see some movement, some frustration, and where you're going to see where you need to kind of allow these tower moments to take place. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I will see you guys next week. Also, my Ancestor series, I'm still continuing with it. There's going to be a video posted tonight on it. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I will see you guys on the next video. All my links and stuff will be down below. If you want to book a reading with me, it'll be down in the description box.